大家好
and welcome to White Gaze,
Gaze,
where we white gaze upon the drama,
the looks,
and the language of our newest favorite Chinese television show, Empresses in the Palace, otherwise known as
Zhen Huan.
And today we are getting into episode 22?
22.
22.
Listen, whenever I'm in public and I ask people, whenever I'm trying to promote the podcast and ask people if they watch the show, I will always say the name wrong, and they're like, what are you talking about? And then I have to get into the mode of doing this opening, and then I can say the name correctly.
It's the muscle memory.
It is muscle memory.
Yeah.
Because I'll say it and then maybe I'm not saying it wrong, and then I'm like, give me a second, and I go through it and I'm like, Zhen Huan, and they're like, oh yeah,
that one, yeah.
Which honestly, what the fuck else could be? Even if I'm saying it in a different tone, what the fuck else could be Zhen Huan?
I don't know. We'd have to. Maybe there is a lot of other things. But yeah, this week there's a lot of drama in this episode.
Honestly, I feel like this episode was never gonna end.
Did I lie?
It was long. I kept thinking okay, certainly this is the last scene. And then suddenly we went to the opera, which lasted quite a while.
In the last episode, we saw that Roly Poly Changzai wants to move in with Zhen Huan. Mm-hmm. She gets fucked. She's moving up the ladders. And then we also see Linrong gets caught for her black magic.
Yes, she is using voodoo to take out revenge on her enemies, which, unfortunately, it seems this episode her list grows longer. And the episode finished by they were at some type of banquet with everybody was together. They were eating dinner, and they were talking about whose look was the most expensive. In a time of recession.
Yeah, they're talking about being frugal with the wines, and then Hua Fei is just flaunting out her tutoring money.
Yes. Well, and it comes back to money because we start this episode with Hua Fei brushing her hair, lovingly touching the side of her face as she glares into the mirror. And they're talking about how much money she has left because she's been spending a lot.
She only has 4,000 teals left. And she needs to get a really fierce gift for the Empress Dowager.
Right, because she says it's either give her the best or give nothing at all. Mm-hmm. So how are they going to get extra money?
Which I'm not very clear on how they're going to get extra money. There's this man that wants to talk to the brother or something.
Let me clarify. So Michi Miao Miao says, by the way, of all the people that you've been sort of taking money from and passing the name on to your brother, there's one guy who actually said he'd be willing to pay you 50,000 taels just to get a meeting with the brother. And she was like, well, wait a minute, who is it? And Michi Miao Miao says the name Zhao Zhiyuan. And immediately she was like, impossible.
No.
I can't do that. Because I guess her brother has already disgraced this man before to the emperor. But once she learns what the price is, 50,000 taels for the meeting, 100,000 taels if it's successful.
I could not believe
She
it.
said, actually, yeah, why not? Let's try it.
Get the money up front, and then I'll arrange it.
Give me the deposit, and let's see how far this man can go. Clearly, he goes pretty far.
Is this the man that they were talking about later?
Yes.
Okay. Well,
Yes.
then we'll...
Because immediately the next scene, we see that the general is approaching the emperor's little house, which I thought that this was very funny because when we were watching the episode, you were like, oh my gosh, I love him in this color. And I said, Big Westi, what do you mean? He always wears that.
I thought it was the emperor, and it was in blue this time instead of yellow.
From afar, these men do kind of look similar.
Their mustaches are very different, though.
They are. But anyways, he's trying to get in. Unfortunately, the emperor is already playing Go with the 17th prince. Yes. So he cannot go inside.
And what is his name?
Su Peixiang.
He's like, you can't stand in the middle. And he goes, oh no, don't worry. I'm not going to be here that long.
Girl. And so he tries to do this thing to, sort of save the face and be sort of meet me halfway. And he's like, here, come and sit in this chair. He doesn't move.
Just stone face.
So he says, bitch, move it a little closer. Move the chair. So they move the chair again.
Nothing.
So he's like, fuck, okay. Moves the chair one last time. And he's like, sir, please sit down. You're making everybody uncomfortable.
It is so weird that he's just going to just stand there and wait and just like sit in the middle of all these people. It's so weird.
It's like a very forceful showing of, pride and status. And bitch, this man thinks he is the emperor by now.
Well, because they keep letting him get away with bullshit like this.
Every single thing. Right. We do cut to the girlies playing Go inside, which Monty and I have started watching this Korean show called The Glory. I recommend that everybody watch it. Maybe we should switch over to watching that show for the podcast. Maybe.
Why?
It's fierce. And it involves revenge. But the reason I bring it up is because Go is a very important theme throughout that show. So I've learned a little bit more about this game.
But they are also using Go to like talk about the war and their lives and stuff.
Right. I did write that down. I was like, is this a metaphor?
They were. It's hard for me to follow, but they were talking about the war and
right. Because in
strategy.
A game of Go, you build your houses and you have to win the houses. And whoever wins the most houses by the end of the game, and the games can like go very long, ends up winning. Mm-hmm. And I learned that from this other show. So I think here they're definitely talking about how the emperor won the game, but at the very end, he squeaked by. But he said he would rather win painstakingly with planning and win at the very end.
非得苦心经营，大功告成，方才有幸为。
So maybe that's what he's doing with
the country.
Not just the country, but with the general.
What do you mean?
I think, well, as we'll see maybe later, I think it's potentially he is letting the general act like an asshole so that the general undoes himself.
Yeah, because he doesn't want to lose him because he is slaying in the war.
Right. I think he wants him to slay the girls in the Southwest. And then once that's over, then he'll handle it. Mm-hmm. Maybe. I don't know. We'll have to see how this turns out.
Well, because he is just keeping the receipts.
He is. The game's over. And the 17th prince walks out because he lost. And he's just a very happy man. And when he leaves, he notices that the general is still sitting down.
Yeah, and he's like, sorry, my knees are weak from being in the cold and fighting these wars.
I really wish I could stand up and honor you right now, but I just, I can't. And so the 17th prince is like, sure, dude. And then he leaves.
And his...
I don't think he's a eunuch. He wasn't wearing the garb.
No, he's like his...
I think he's a prince.
Oh, you think so?
Because they called him Ajin.
Okay.
Which I think is what they also called... I don't think he's the orphan prince. Is he the orphan prince?
No, that kid was like a kid.
Yeah. He could have grown up. Time has passed.
I mean, it has been almost a year.
Yeah.
But he was a kid, I'm pretty sure.
Okay.
I remember.
Anyways, he's pissed. He's mad.
Yeah, he's like, how are you letting him talk to you like this? And he's like, I don't really care.
王爷失势会不如奴才，这奴才得势啊，会凌驾于主子。
Well, he did say that he has to restrain himself to protect his mother, and his mother restrains herself to protect him, which I think I love this man.
Me too.
Yes, Daddy.
We cut back to the emperor in his office, and the general comes in, and the general immediately, like quite nimbly, gets on his knees.
Yeah.
So obviously his knee is fine.
Which we get back into that in a second.
Yeah. And he is like, by the way, there's this man, Zhao Zhiyuan, which you did fire him because I told you to. But I need you to unfire him. I made a mistake. And because I made that mistake, I want you to punish me.
And the emperor's like, no, I can't be firing people and then unfiring people because then my word means nothing.
And he will not take it. He says, I could not sleep if you did not undo this decision.
And he's like, well, at least give him a different title.
Right.
You don't have to give him the same title, but you have to give him a job.
Mm-hmm. What title did they end up giving him? I think he's like press secretary.
Diversity, equity, and... what is it? Diversity, equity...
And inclusion.
Inclusion and belonging.
Officer. Office. Manager.
You know, I always wondered why they had the like belonging in it.
Yeah.
Because it's DIEB instead of because they don't want it to be DIE, I guess. Die.
Yes. In the end, yeah, I guess Hua Fei's scheme pays off, and she's about to get 100,000 taels.
And she got the box of jewelry.
Well, we find that out later. Because on the
We're not
there yet. On the general's way out, guess who he sees?
Zhen Huan.
And by the way, Zhen Huan and Jade are looking so pretty in this scene.
Yeah.
Jade especially. I didn't recognize her. I was like, girl, what are you doing?
And he's like, what's your name? And she's like, Wang Guiren. And he's like, oh.
Oh, you, bitch. I heard a lot about you. You've been causing trouble for my sister, huh?
You had a lot to say in the press the other day.
What's good? And Zhen Huan tries to, she's looking down, not making eye contact, and she says, well, Hua Fei is in good graces, so of course she is at peace. And he was like, yeah, but if a girl is causing her some trouble, oh, trust and believe, I'm going to be coming through and handling it myself. Little girl.
Mm-hmm. She's like, well, you don't have to worry about that. I'm not causing any trouble.
Right. Couldn't be me.
She isn't, though. She isn't causing any trouble.
No.
Hua Fei is causing all the trouble.
That's the thing. Hua Fei's causing the trouble. She's just rising to the occasion.
Uh-huh.
And winning.
Uh-huh.
So if we had to go back to see who started it, it was Hua Fei.
But a smart girl can't be had.
No, you can't have her. She's going to have you first.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of smart girls, we cut back to the emperor in his office. We're spending a lot of office hours today. He's putting them in the clock, getting his payroll.
Su Pei-sheng comes in, and he's like, how did the general look whenever he was leaving? He was like, he looked really happy, a lot happier than whenever he got here. And he was like, yep, that's what I thought.
And he goes on to say, by the way, also when he arrived, he wouldn't sit down. And then finally, when he did sit down, he wouldn't stand up when the emperor, when the 17th prince came through, which I thought was odd.
And he was like, but it's okay because he said he was injured, and so
right. And
so
who could possibly take offense from the great general? Did I say too much? And the emperor, clocks this too. I think he was like trying to put that idea in the emperor's mind.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, he's being very offensive.
Su Pei-sheng is playing the game too.
He is? Oh, girl, how do you think he got that position? Zhen Huan comes in, and I thought this was really fierce. When Zhen Huan was on her way in, Su Pei-sheng again
tells her too.
By the way, this just happened. I think you should know.
Be careful in there.
And culture alert, there's some poetry history bullshit going on here. And they discuss the politics of Ouyang Xiu. Because, again, the emperor keeps asking her about politics. And she's like,
I'm not going to speak about politics.
A silly girl like me could never.
And he's like, I don't want you to speak about politics. We can speak about poetry. We can speak about history.
Right. So she says, historically, this man once said that alliances based on benefits can easily collapse if suddenly their ideas change about what they want, or if one person finally gets the benefits.
And he's like, you always know exactly what to say.
Mm-hmm. He's hard.
Mm-hmm. And he's like, now you're going to have to write down this poem.
Right.
In your handwriting.
So that when I read it, I can remember you and you can calm me with your dainty female handwriting.
With that pussy cunt symbols that you write.
I mean, I guess with like the way that they write the calligraphy, like if you've got like a really floppy wrist, that should make it look really fierce.
Yeah.
Rather than like very rigid.
Yeah, you need the nice brush strokes.
Yeah. Hitting hands. But in order for her to write this, he tries to put her in the chair.
Oh, and she goes to the chair and she's like, no.
I could never. Because this is like the emperor chair.
Yeah.
But he forces her down into it. And she's just like, oh.
Yeah, this is a big step.
Yeah.
I wonder if Hua Fei's ever sat in the chair.
Never.
Does she write?
I don't think she knows how.
Does she know how to read?
Probably not.
No, she knows how to read.
She knows how to read a bitch.
But she doesn't read.
I don't think she reads.
No.
So she goes on to write as the emperor grinds the ink.
Oh, how the tables have turned.
The tables have turned.
Where does ink come from?
The well?
No, because it's just in that stick and they just grind it and it goes down. What is it made of?
I think it's like water.
Does it come from a squid?
I think some does. I think what happens is they get the ink. There must be like a rock. And then they mix the rock and then they have to grind the rock into the water.
Mm-hmm.
And then it becomes ink.
It's got to be pretty, what is that? Malleable.
Yeah.
I got an A in geology, okay?
Finally, we get back to Hua Fei where she gets her prize.
She gets the jewelry box and she gets the 100,000
Yeah.
tails.
And she hears tell that somehow this man was only given one shot, one sentence to plead his case to her brother. And clearly it has worked. So she wonders, well, what could that sentence have been?
Was it more money?
Basically, the sentence was, I will send you $10,000 via PayPal if you keep me.
Yeah, 'cause it was something. There was something mentioned about 300,000 tails.
The brother got $300K, as well as her getting $100K.
And the box of jewelry.
And the box of jewelry. So this man, he has been disgraced, but clearly not canceled if he still has this much money.
Well, we'll take a break on that one.
Hi there, it's Trenty from the world-famous White Gaze podcast. And I'm here to ask you, are you feeling sad?
Are you suffering from crippling anxiety?
Have you ever been trapped outside of a foreign country for an uncomfortable amount of time while you wait on your visa?
I'm not comfortable with sharing my trauma on the pod.
Well, either way, BetterHelp is there for you. BetterHelp is an online therapy service for people who can afford it. You can access them at betterhelp.com.
Period. There is no promo code because we are not actually sponsored by BetterHelp. But if you subscribe to our podcast, then we can use that money to pay for the services that we so desperately need.
We thank you in advance.
And we are back, and the girls are competing in a sewing challenge, it seems.
Well, first we see Zhen Huan making the robe. She's been working on it. She's threading it. All she's got to do is the eyes.
The eyes are the hardest part.
And she mentions that she is not as good at embroidery as Anne is.
And that's so funny you should say that, because guess what? We cut right to Anne.
Making the same dragon robe.
Sleeping robe. And she's just embroidering it and being like, wow, I'm good at this. I can't wait to give this to the emperor. And her little maid is like, yeah, the emperor's going to feel how much you love him when he wears this.
Uh-huh.
It's a bright, shining moment for a difficult time for Anne. She had a bad week last week. Mm-hmm. Hopefully this can get her back into her good spirits.
We shall see. Because next we cut to the emperor. The empress arrives with the H&R Buck
tax returns,
QuickBooks,
their quarterly report,
Intuit. Bleep all those names out. They're not paying us.
Well,
they could.
You could.
If QuickBooks, Intuit, H&R Block.
If we had any
Let me
listeners,
say it twice.
If we had any listeners that file American taxes, maybe they would. But if we have listeners in America, I'm pretty sure they are not paying taxes. And the emperor is shocked to find out that Hua Fei is spending so much money.
Well, it seems like the empress is more shocked.
She's doing this on purpose.
Absolutely.
She's doing that thing where she's pretending to be a little ignorant of it while also being like reminding you of it constantly.
Why is she spending so much money? Where is this money coming from?
She was wrapping her gifts in gold. She gave too many gifts because her brother was in town. And other things as well. Mm-hmm. And then the emperor was like, okay, that makes sense.
But she should not be spending more money than you.
You're the empress. She's just a concubine. And she was like, yeah, I know. But also, isn't it weird that she's spending like so much money? Because this is just the palace's expense books.
Not even personal.
How much do you think she's personally spending?
Yeah, that's none of my business.
And the emperor is like, well, she must be getting it from her family. And she's like, yeah, but aren't you giving their family money too?
Oh,
interesting. Could there be some financial fraud going on?
Is there a name for that, like laundering or embezzlement or...
Maybe embezzlement would be the word, yeah. Laundering is when you like get money from selling drugs, but then you declare it as like my tutoring money.
Oh, yeah.
Whereas this seems to be the emperor is rewarding the brother, but then that money is being used to bribe people to support the general and Hua Fei. Mm-hmm. And the emperor says, I'm aware of these allegations. Do not investigate further.
What?
I think because he'll
Anyway,
just let it happen because they're going to let it slide. It's going to continue to happen. And then when everything's said and done,
right,
he's going to come through with the evidence himself.
Right. It's like, oh my gosh, it's kind of like, I may have to bleep all of this out because this is not high crimes, I would say petty crimes. Mm-hmm. But if you are shoplifting from stores such as Walmart or Fred Meyer, that's a local one in Alaska, they're not going to stop you the first time they catch you. They are going to let you shoplift up to a certain amount so that their case against you can be stronger.
Oh, really?
Yes. So if you shoplift like a little tiny toy, they're going to let you do it. Because over time, suddenly they can slap on you shoplifting of over $1,000.
You in danger.
And then you can like go to jail for that?
Yes.
Yeah.
So I think maybe the emperor is doing a little bit of that. But enough of this money talk. In come the robes.
At the same time.
The same exact time. Mm-hmm. And when they open it, the empress is like, wow, this one is from An Changzai. Oh, she's the best needleworker in the palace, don't you think? And the emperor says,
yeah, this is good.
Great, fine, next. And we don't actually see his reaction to Zhen Huan's.
No, we only see that to Anne's.
We do cut back to the girls, and they're playing with their makeups, trying out the new products.
Yeah, I was wondering, are they like makeup powders or are they like fragrance powders?
I think both.
Because some of them were like pink, but they didn't look pigmented enough to be like a nice blush.
I'm not really sure how makeup worked at this time.
Me neither. I'm not sure how it works now.
Girl, we need we need to get somebody on the pod who can give us a historical take on the makeup.
I feel like Beaverhausen would maybe know.
Who was the Nikki Tutorials of this time?
That girl from the opera.
Okay, yeah, well,
the stage makeup, yeah.
I put a note on her. But all the girls are looking really great in this scene. Especially, I really do think that An Changzai are looking really good. And Linrong, I think she's looking fab. She's in that purple. The color palette is matching.
I liked her look later.
Okay. I think I know which one you're talking about.
At the opera.
Yeah. She has that fierce scarf.
The pink fur.
Yeah. I love that. But there's a lot of drama in this scene. And it mostly comes from Roly-Poly Changzai not knowing how to shut her fucking mouth.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so listen, are they not allowed to look at the emperor when they're getting fucked or something?
I don't know. Because there is a big deal made about, like, she wanted to see if his skin looked the same as the skin on his face.
She wanted to see that body.
Yeah, she wanted to see if he was all nice and pale.
If he's been powdering.
If he's been powdering
if
himself.
He's been powdering like
Right.
what were they calling it? A shellless egg or something? She says, whenever I was serving His Majesty last night, I wanted to look so bad to see what his body looked like.
Right. And Zhen Huan thinks that this is vulgar. She's like,
you
do
gotta
not
stop
talk.
it.
Yeah.
And she's like, but what I saw was him wearing this beautiful robe with this dragon on it, and she's describing
and it's a
the
one
dragon.
single beautiful dragon, and I loved it so much.
And Linrong is like,
finally, I'm getting noticed
because that's her robe that he's talking.
Yes.
That she's talking about.
The emperor's she's complimenting this robe, and the emperor then allegedly. Now, granted, this is all alleged. Roly Poly Chang's eye could be making all of this up, but allegedly he said, "Well, why don't I take this off and cut it out for you if you like it so much? Stop staring at me, ho."
Yikes.
And her face cracks.
Uh-huh.
Now, Zhen Huan doesn't know that she made this.
Yeah. And did Anne know that Zhen Huan made one?
No.
Not until she reveals it.
Not until apparently the emperor, again allegedly,
Puts on
puts
another
on
robe.
Zhen Huan's and says, "I like this one more because it feels more comfortable."
And then Roly Poly Changtai goes, "Oh, where'd you get this robe?" And he goes, "Well, why don't you ask your sister Zhen Huan?"
And feels very betrayed.
Well, yeah, her robe got cut up.
Allegedly, we didn't see it. Give your friend the benefit of the doubt. Also, Zhen Huan did not cut it up. The emperor did.
Exactly. And
It's not Zhen Huan's fault.
later on we see that she thinks that it is.
Well, yes. But I do think that she's taking this very hard. Because as soon as this starts to happen, Zhen Huan is like, oh no, this is awkward. I have to stop this. So she's like, "Roly Poly girl, shut up and go home."
I said what I think.
And then as soon as it's just the two of them, suddenly Anne is like, "I need to go home."
Wanna know what? No, I am gonna leave.
And she leaves.
But Zhen Huan sends her off with some cookies
She does.
or some cakes, some gluttonous cakes.
Yeah, but the glutinous cakes are going to make her stomach upset. That's what she said.
Uh-huh. She always has an excuse when somebody tries to give her a drink or a snack.
Well, she's trying to excuse herself before she breaks down in public. Because she is crying
As soon as she gets home, yeah.
as soon as she gets home. She's crying. Daisy tries to give her some little tea. She slaps that tea out of her hands and says, "Get the fuck out of here, Daisy. Who asked you?"
Was Daisy the bitch that she was slapping around in the last episode?
No, that was the other one.
But in the other one was like, it's Daisy. It's Daisy.
Yeah,
Because
Daisy
Daisy
was
came
the
from
one.
Zhen Huan, yeah.
Yeah.
Then we see Zhen Huan, and she's like, I have these very super rare jade hairpins that the emperor gave me. I want to give them to Anne to help her feel better.
Yeah.
Jinxi, go take these to Anne.
And JC's like, "Are you sure, girl? Because these were custom gifted to you by the emperor himself. Like, these are very precious."
And she's like, yeah, I have hairpins. Galore.
True friends are rarer than jade in the palace.
宫中真心的姐妹太少了，别叫她难受。
Is that what she said?
Yes. And so she takes him over. And then Anne Linrong does this thing. Okay, so I have this friend named Alex, and when we were in high school, she was on lots of medication, and so her emotions were like very dulled. And so whenever somebody would tell a joke, she would just say, "That's funny." And so Anne Linrong gets this gift, and she says, "I'm so overjoyed by this."
What else does Jinxi say to her?
By the way, Zhen Huan just wants to make sure that you didn't take it too personal. And Roly Poly Chang's eye is just a little girl, so don't be mad at her.
Yeah. And so Jinxi leaves, and she sees Daisy outside crying.
Yes.
And she's like, what's going on? Why are you out here in the cold?
And she spills the tea. She says the truth. That bitch slapped me, told me to work outside. I've never seen her this angry in my life.
And what's her maid's name? Because she's seeing the whole thing.
Right,
happen.
she's spying. She's evil. I don't think she's helping the situation.
Not at all. What's her name?
I don't think it's possible to know.
Well, she's there, and she's
Her.
evil. Her. Ladies and gentlemen, her.
It's she.
And she goes in, and she tells Anne.
Yeah.
She's like, Daisy is out there talking shit.
Yeah.
And then Anne's like, I knew it. Daisy went and told Zhen Huan that I was making this gold robe.
Right, which I thought was crazy. I don't think that's possible.
I don't think it's possible.
That definitely didn't happen.
And so Zhen Huan started to make a gold robe so that she could be better than me.
And she goes down this long, dark conspiracy hole where, the only reason she was my friend was because Shen is still in pussy prison. If Shen wasn't in pussy prison, she wouldn't talk to me. Like, she's not here to be my friend. She didn't give me these because she wants me to feel good. She gave me these hairpins to protect this bitch who's now stepping all over me and climbing over me. Like, she doesn't care about me at all.
And she's also like taking it personal that she is not getting these gifts in the first place with the emperor. Because she's like, all of these things are specifically for her from the emperor, and she's just giving them to me because she has too many.
Right. And I just think, girl, you need to take a deep breath. You need to go outside and you need to process some of this because it's not worth it. Why are you... She is creating these demons in her head that do not exist, which is only going to serve to make their lives worse.
Yeah. She, like, loves to be the victim. She loves to be upset.
Did I lie?
Yeah.
She loves to think that Zhen Huan is out to get her. I can even, like, think back to whenever she, like, went and killed what's her name. She didn't kill her, but she like made sure that what's her name killed herself. You dying.
I forgot about that.
Yeah, because she like went out there and she comes back in and she sees
oh yeah
Jen and Shen Meizhuang like talking about her.
Yeah. Oh damn. So it's been
and she's just continually like thinking that nobody likes her, but
damn.
Zhen Huan is always coming to her rescue.
That's true.
And she does at the opera.
She does. Because we cut to the Empress, who apparently has served, because she's brushing her hair in the bedchamber.
She has served and she is serving.
She is sitting. I meant to say that before, like at the beginning of the episode, Hua Fei is sitting. When I saw this, you know the first thought that came to mind?
That they be fucking and just have so many clothes on?
Well...
After I fuck, like, I'm still keeping my clothes off.
No, my first thought was, do they wrap her up too, bitch?
Oh, yeah, do they?
I don't know. She's the primary wife.
I feel like she doesn't get wrapped up.
I don't think she has to.
I don't think so.
I think she just comes in from next door.
Yeah. Do they live close to each other?
I don't know, do they? They must.
I need a map.
Do you think she hears them when he's with the other girls?
I don't know.
Do you think she's allowed to watch?
I would hope so.
I would hope so too. But I don't think the Emperor's that kind of girl.
You think he'd get shy, couldn't get hard?
Yeah. Poor guy. And she turns back to him and says, wait a minute, why are you wearing that old dusty robe?
You just got 2 brand new ones.
You got 2 brand new ones and they're really fierce. And he was like, well, this one was made by the Empress Premier.
In parentheses, her sister.
So thank you for that clarification and that reminder.
And that's such a weird conversation to be having.
Yeah, like
this my dead ex-wife, your sister, is...
I miss her, basically.
Yeah.
And she probably misses her sister, too.
Yeah.
So I thought that part was actually sweet. But then he's like, okay, time for bed. And he just, like, without moving his torso, just sort of, like, tries to put the book on the countertop. And it just looked, to me, it looked so funny. He was just, like, not moving his head, reaching in the dark. And the Empress says, well, by the way, tomorrow we're going to go to the opera. So why don't we take a break and put on our fineries?
Oh, I love this pink guava drink.
Introducing the new guava green tea frozen smoothie from Yidiandian. One taste will transport you back to all of the tropical shores of all of the destinations that you would like to visit, but you cannot because of travel restrictions. Tasting of guava and green tea, you can imagine yourselves frolicking between the waves. Head on down to Yidiandian now.
You can buy this drink between the months of June and July, so it is no longer available. All right, we are back and we're going to the opera.
This is the part of the episode where I was convinced it was going to roll the credits. I was like, we're going to get to the opera and it's going to be freeze frame and then we would surely start the next episode with the opera, but nope.
No, we get to see the opera.
The whole entire thing. Well, actually, do we get to see the opera or do we get to see these bitches arguing the entire time?
This was us just last weekend at the Mulan Spectacular, looking for Monty's phone.
Oh, yeah. Causing a ruckus in the audience.
Missing half the show, accusing bitches of stealing the phone.
There was drama.
Which Sam made that accusation at first, and I was like, Sam, I don't want to go down that road.
I'm shocked that you did, but of course, that did not end up being the case. The phone was under the table. But yeah, we go into this little theater space. All the girls have got, I guess, some tea and maybe some snacks in front of them. We know they're snacks because Roly Poly Changzai is
chomping.
Is snacking, yes. And Hua Fei and the Empress are seated right at center stage.
I have a question. If there was other fays in the harem, would they also be sitting at the front?
There are other fays.
There is. Chi Fei. And
yeah.
she is sitting at the front, but she's not sitting in the middle.
Not in the middle.
What makes Hua Fei sit in the middle?
I think it's the unspoken rule that her brother is in town and she's just the number one girl right now.
But doesn't Chi Fei have a baby?
Yeah, but the Emperor hates him. Because he's dumb. But you know what? He's an absent father, so...
Yeah.
He's not reading bedtime stories to him. Anyways, culture alert. They talk about lots of different operas because I guess there's a book where they can just sort of like select which opera they're going to watch. And so they go, they're like, I want to order this one and this one and this one. And to be honest, I think I would have enjoyed this scene a little more if I knew the connotations of all these different operas and if they would just shut the fuck up and watch the show. But they spend nearly the entire performance coming for each other in one way or another and also making references that I did not understand.
Yeah, it was a little hard to understand it because we don't know the operas. But we get some sort of like explanation. So first, they're not even talking about the operas. They're like talking about the money. And the Empress is like, why are you spending so much money?
And she says, that's none of your business.
Where are you getting all this money from?
She's like, well, you know, I got all of my fancy clothes made from outside of the palace. So you just have to wear what you got. Mm-hmm. My brother gave it to me.
Run and tell that.
Then there's also some discussion about like, oh, I love this opera because it tells the story about a man who divorces his wife so he can follow his heart and find true love. What do you think about that, Empress?
Drag her. Slay her.
And she's like, well, I think when you're the primary wife, the only one, the number one, you have to tolerate that they love some concubines. And even though he divorced her, he always came back.
Read her.
3 times.
Sipping on that true tea,
yeah, and they're not even divorced.
Right.
I guess that was like the point of what she was saying. It's like, because at the end of the day, I'm still the wife and you're still the side bitch.
Something else gets brought up. She's like, oh, I want to watch this one. And then Chi Fei pipes up and is like, oh, I think you're like the main character from that one because she's such a loving mother and like a cautious wife. And she brought happiness to everybody. And Hua Fei then is like, oh, you have a dumb kid.
Nobody loves your kid.
Next.
And then Zhen Huan wants to order an opera.
Yeah, which to me, I thought it was interesting because I think it's similar or the same as the Peony Pavilion that they discussed with the 17th Prince on the boat. Mm-hmm. And she says, I want to see this one. And apparently that was some type of swipe again at Hua Fei.
Yeah, because Hua Fei's face is like, excuse me?
She's reciting some poetry at me now, bitch.
Uh-huh. And Linrong gets involved.
Yeah, she steps up wearing a fabulous outfit.
Yes, this was one of my favorites with the pink fur. Mm-hmm. And Hua Fei is like taking it very personal. And Zhen Huan's like, we're talking about an opera here, and you're taking this very personal. This is not our real lives. We're literally talking about an opera.
Well, she was trying to read her down because she steps up and is like, yeah, I love that opera too because it shows like the mutual love between the emperor and his wife or something. And Hua Fei is like,
you're not getting any love.
You're talking about mutual love, you forgotten fucked up bitch.
Pick my fucking fruit out, ho.
It must be so amazing to have such thick skin that you can be insulted so often and still talk about mutual love. Ho.
Yeah, and then again, Zhen Huan comes to her rescue.
Right.
I was like, this is we're talking about an opera here, and you are trying to make this about yourself.
Mm-hmm. So shut up and let us watch.
You must feel very insecure in this situation because you are the one that is being targeted. Mm-hmm. If you feel that way, it must be that way.
Mm-hmm. Also, you're the one who, again, began this whole thing by being shady to the Empress.
And then the Empress is like, yeah, we're talking about an opera here.
Yeah, read a book once.
I would like to applaud the man in the opera because he is bouncy, bitch.
He is doing some flips, some walkovers.
Let me tell you, those front flips are not easy to do.
Mm-hmm. And I want to give it up for the girl, who we historically know is actually a male performer in drag. Because she's painted, and she's twirling, and she is poking that spear on the beat.
She was in drag?
Yeah, that's a boy.
Well, we're not going to get into that.
Well, okay.
Oh my God. I hate that shit. I remember going to like a drag show at the Pearl like a while ago, like whenever like people were traveling in from other cities and stuff, and there was this girl there like with her mom, and she was like we were outside smoking, and she was like saying like, and I had to explain to my mom like, Mom, those are men up there. I had to go over to her and be like, listen, baby, we don't need to get into all that because some of them aren't men.
Right. Right. We actually don't know, and it doesn't really matter.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
They're performers and they're entertaining us.
Yes. But yeah, I was going to nominate Miss Thing for my top 2.
The opera girl?
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's looking very fabulous.
Mm-hmm. With the feathers, she's giving, like, what's her name at the... Diabetes.
Okay,
Diabetes drew inspiration from her.
Yeah, okay.
With the feathers.
Let's give credit where credit is due. We cut back to Zhen Huan at her home. I guess they're getting ready to go visit the Empress Dowager, which I don't know why. But she suddenly gets a new Feng Money Bunny pink jacket.
And unnameable maid comes over and she's like, ooh, wear this new one. And she goes, I don't think that's appropriate.
Yeah. She doesn't want to be that flamboyant at this conservative meeting. I'm not really sure what is the point of this meeting.
Uh-huh.
I had asked you when we were watching it, like, is she dying? Like, are they saying goodbye to her forever?
I think maybe we missed what the point is, but I don't know what it was.
Okay.
But they all go in to the meeting.
All the girls go in.
And she's like, I want to see all the Chong's eyes. Y'all greet me.
Yep.
And
so
all the Chong's eyes go down, and she's like, oh wait, not the Chong's eyes, the Gui Ren's.
The Gui Ren's, yeah.
Yeah, she's like, let me see all the Gui Ren's. And she's like, Wang Gui Ren, look at me, I haven't seen you in forever.
End of episode.
I think that at the beginning of the next episode, it'll probably pick up right here, and it will be
the face reveal.
No, it will be a continuation of the drama that she had the last episode with Hua Fei, where she was talking about how Zhen Huan was getting all of these nice gifts, and she gets whatever she asks for. And the emperor is spending too much money because Zhen Huan is getting whatever she asks for.
Oh, see,
she wasn't even asking for.
I guess my initial thought was that she is going to finally reveal who she looks like.
Also
like,
that.
I want to look at you one last time before I die. I don't know. Like, what is... And like, reveal, like, you look just like whoever she is. Whoever
Also
it ends up
that.
being. But, yeah, I mean, I'm a little confused about where the story is going right now.
Yeah.
I miss Shen Mei Zhuang.
We didn't even see her at all.
No, I want her to come back. We still have no more developments in the story of Liu Ben, the fake doctor who tricked her in the first place.
Yeah. I haven't seen Vermilion in a while.
Yeah. Maybe she had her annual leave.
Maybe.
Also, we haven't seen Xiao Yunze.
Oh, yeah, no.
We saw Cao Gui-ren today.
Very briefly.
Yeah, very briefly. She was there. It's just this boy drama is taking up too much time.
Yeah.
I need the general to leave.
Yeah, I don't like him.
I'm ready for this storyline to be done.
I think that whenever it is done, though, it will end very dramatically.
In what way?
Well, just as we said before, that they're just going to continue to let him be an asshole, and then whenever the Emperor gets what he needs...
Do you think they'll kill him?
I don't think they're going to kill him, but I think it'll be...
Do you think he'll kill the Emperor?
No.
Okay. Do you think there will be civil war? Because, you know what, there is one shot in, like, the opening credits where it does kind of look like they're in, like, weird gray outfits.
Yeah. Listen, whenever I was in high school, we were like, we went to a football game and like we'd take the bus back and we're taking the bus back. And this was like during an election or something.
Oh no.
And it's like midnight or something, election results are out and somebody's like, so-and-so was elected and civil wars broke up. And we're like, what? They're talking about the fucking like folk band, the Civil Wars. Like, Kelsey, you stupid bitch.
You're freaking all of us out. All we wanted to do was go to Whataburger in peace. Why don't we take a break?
Yeah, let's take a break.
Hey, Cam!
Hey, Gio!
Guess what?
What?
We're doing a podcast!
We are doing a podcast, an unofficial Disney podcast.
Yes! Ooh, I love Disney!
And do you know what makes us different from other podcasts?
Yes, we're not two white women drinking wine and talking about true crime.
Well, yeah, but besides that, we're reviewing Disney animated classics without any accreditation.
Oh, yeah, that too. That's right. We're not film critics or mental health professionals.
Absolutely not.
Yeah, but we are adults with opinions about the films that shaped our childhood.
This pod is perfect for Disney lovers from moderate to extreme.
And it's designed for the Disney adult in mind. So take your multivitamin or your Boniva and prepare your cocktail, because Cam and I are ready to walk down memory lane.
And answer the tough questions like, how did Ariel decide which sea creatures are her friends and which ones are underwear?
Oh wait, where does Tarzan get his body wax?
Right!
We're gonna answer all them questions. So tune into Your Bare Necessities, the unofficial, much-needed Disney podcast.
Available on Spotify, Apple Podcast, Google Podcast, or wherever you get your podcast. Forget about your ways and your stuff. You got the...
You don't have to sing Fade It Out. You could just sing and I could fade you. It's an audio medium.
Y'all, we are back. And guess what? It is just in time for...
本周心机争宠装.
This is our weekly segment where we go through and we nominate our top girls of the week and we decide who came out on top.
Okay, so starting at the beginning of the episode, Jade, of course.
Jade she made such an impact for such a small amount of screen time. And impact, I think, matters.
I would also like to say the general.
I hate you for that.
I liked what he was wearing. I thought he
literally
looked
wears
nice.
it every week.
Yeah, well, it had impact today whenever he was walking in. I noticed it. I was like, oh, okay. Well, maybe it's just because I thought it was the emperor and it was something fresh.
Yeah. Well, okay. I would also like to nominate Hua Fei, who was in fact sitting at the beginning of the episode in her long purple,
in the purple
with gold accents and yellow. I thought that was really fierce.
Showing off some of her new money. Mm-hmm. I also like Linrong at the opera in the pink.
Yes. I love that she just had like that furry scarfy looking thing.
That's what I liked the most was the is it fuchsia or magenta? What is that?
It's like that deepy red.
Deep pink.
Because
everybody else is giving like a soft pussy pink, but she came in with rosebud pink.
Yeah. And I also want to nominate her for the makeup party because the color palette there was really great. I thought Zhen Huan looked good in that scene too, but I just didn't think the colors really matched up because it was like orange and teal and pink. There was too much going on. But in that scene, Zhen Huan's hair was done and it had like these metal gold like fastenings inside of it.
Yeah.
It was pretty.
But we have to let the drag queen win.
Oh, yeah, how couldn't we? Yeah, no, they win by default. They understood the assignment, they served, and they were able to perform to the most ungrateful audience I've ever seen in my life.
Oh my god, yeah, no, if that was me, I would stop the music and I would get on the mic and I'd say, listen here, bitch.
Right.
I fucking made this costume myself.
Yeah. I've rehearsed for hours.
I spent hours putting this face on.
Yeah.
Y'all are gonna sit down. Y'all are gonna shut the fuck up, and y'all are gonna cheer for me.
Yeah.
Let me know. Let me know.
My performance is exactly 10 minutes long. Can that not wait? Whatever you're doing.
Right.
I say it. What I say it.
So, anyways, yeah. Salute.
Thin hair, bitch. Ugly ass, bitch.
Yeah. So that was
本周心机争宠装。
And now it's time for
Whispers in the Palace. So last week, our Whispers in the Palace segment was very long because we were catching up. But this week, we just want to thank to everybody who is still listening on Xiaoyu Zhou and on Apple Podcasts, on Spotify. People who are engaging with our questions. We leave questions for all of our episodes. Sometimes we even release polls. Oh my God, speaking of polls, wait, we have to talk about this.
Did yours win?
I won.
Is it? How long was it on there for?
I think it is still up. I think maybe people technically, as of recording, can still vote.
Wow. I voted for you.
Thank you.
I wish on the back end we could see who voted.
But that's not how democracy works.
Because who voted for King Gambit?
I actually did.
You did?
I did. Because I was worried nobody would vote for King Gambit and they'd be sad.
Yeah, I didn't vote for him. I voted for you.
Thank you. And I will wear this title proudly because it's probably the only time in my life I will win a fashion award.
Right.
And that was Whispers in the Palace. So we are doing a very fun language challenge. And it is an older challenge that we're bringing back called... We've done it before, kind of. But it's called How Many Strokes? So there was a big deal made of handwriting in this episode, whether or not you had very hard handwriting or if you had very dainty handwriting. So what I am going to do is I'm going to show Big Westi 3 Chinese characters that relate to the episode, and I want you to try to write them as daintily as possible, and then also tell me how many strokes they are. I'm also going to be video recording this for all of our subscribers on iFadian. For us, you can actually see this in motion.
Can you make it dainty so they're actually legible?
No, I'm going to show you on my phone.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah, because I know you always read me for my handwriting.
I don't want to offend anybody by writing these in the wrong order of strokes.
Well, that's up to you. All right, so the first character I want you to write is called 椅子, which means chair. because chairs were a very important part of this episode.
They were. Okay,椅子.
So I want you to write 椅子.
Oh, it's hard in the digital because I've done the... I don't know how many strokes this is supposed to be or if it's supposed to be connected. Fuck it. We'll do it like this. That's wrong though, isn't it?
It is. Okay, but do the last one. That's E. All right. So how many strokes is that?
Is it 16?
Okay, so you did this one mostly correct. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So this one itself is 12.
Yeah, 12.
And then 13, this one is 13,
14, 15. Okay, so I did this as two different.
So it's 3.
This is where I added the extra one. Mm-hmm. I knew I got this right, but I was saying that this was 13, 14, 15, 16.
Yeah. There you go. Okay, the next one we are going to do is, of course, long, which means dragon. This one's easy.
Probably not correct, but...
No. Okay.
It looks good, but the stroke order, yeah, I believe was not correct. That's probably the last one, isn't it? Mm-hmm. You go here, here, and then cross. No, cross here, and then this is the last one. Yeah?
How many is it?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
All right. Yes. So the thing is, you always do this one first. So that's 1,
okay.
2, and then you do the inside. 3, 4, 5.
Okay. This is the first one, not the last one?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then finally, because we are about to get into the year of the rabbit, I want you to give me the character for 2.
Tuta.
2.
Yeah, I know.
Okay.
Oh, fuck me. Okay.
So always start in the top.
I know, but we need to do this one first, yeah? Or do I need to do this one first? We're going to do this one first.
I actually didn't realize that this is actually kind of hard to write. Okay, well, how many strokes?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Okay, so the way that you should write it is you start with this one. You go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Did you say 8?
I said 8, but they were not the same strokes.
Right. But you know what? You learned a little today. So that means you are the winner of this week's challenge because you got 2 out of 3.
Oh, well, yeah, because this first one I said 16.
Yeah, you fucked it up.
But I wrote it quite well.
You did write the E part really beautifully. So what your prize is going to be is I'm going to get you a little Fung Money Bunny at the U Garden when we go this week.
Yes!
You get to pick out which one you want.
Is this the same game we played last year whenever you won the tiger?
I don't know if it's the same game, but it is a similar prize.
It was how many strokes, though?
Was it?
Yeah, it was the Olympics one.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah.
I love that. An accidental annual challenge.
Yeah.
Well, I think there's only one thing left for us to say.
再见.
If you like White Gaze, we would love for you to leave a review of our podcast, give us 5 stars, and don't forget to subscribe to our podcast wherever you listen from. You can also support us by signing up to be a subscriber by going to anchor.fm/whitegaze/subscribe.
You can follow us at @reverse_cowboy_. and at Officer Trinity, and our White Gaze account is at White Gaze Podcast. You can find us on Instagram, Douyin, TikTok, and the Anchor app.
White Gaze is not endorsed by Beijing TV Art Center. It is intended for entertainment purposes only. Zhen Huan and all names, audio, pictures, and video clips are all registered trademarks and or copyrights of their respected trademark and or copyright holders.
White Gaze is a podcast hosted by Weston Swift and Trenton Schneiders. Produced by Trenton Schneiders and Monty Shaw. Sound and audio by Trenton Schneiders. Media by Monty Shaw. Our theme song is White Gaze by Trenton Schneiders and Weston Swift. I love how I got
You got the remote.
And I was on stage on the microphone just now.